Okay, so what all do you need to do for fall cleanup? So we mentioned in our first video, you need to run a profit and loss, and you're going to click on every single category in there for your client, and you're going to see what's in there. Does it make sense that it's in there? Is it in the wrong place? Does it need to be consolidated? Because sometimes you'll see things like, Google or, Dropbox or something. It might be in subscriptions, and then another time it might be in office expense. So you'll just want to be consistent. Really, bookkeeping is all about being consistent. If you are not consistent, you have to be a little bit OCD to do bookkeeping, right? And why would you put things all over the place? They need to be in the same place. So you're going to click on it and you're going to see, hey, do we have a Dropbox for January, February, March, April, May, June, July, all the way through the current month? And if not, go find it. Where did it go? And make sure it's properly labeled and put in the proper place. So you're going to do that throughout your whole P&L. And then when you get to miscellaneous or uncategorized, maybe I think some people even still have one called Ask My Accountant. I try to combine all those into one so I don't have several all over the place. If you've got a miscellaneous and uncategorized, I would maybe combine those, depending on what you're doing. But accountants generally don't like to see a bunch of miscellaneous because there really isn't a proper place to put it, or those are the items that can get kind of flagged. What are you putting all this in miscellaneous for? If it doesn't fit in any other categories, then what is it? So we like to try to categorize everything into those tax mapping categories as best we can. So you're going to go through all of that, and then you're going to send a client a list of all the things that are still uncategorized. You have probably sent it 3 times already, but you're going to send it one more time. Then you're going to go to your contractors, and you're going to make sure you have those 1099s for all the contractors. By now, by end of fall, you should be able to see who's coming up to $600 or who's already met that threshold, and then you can go ahead and make sure you've got the 1099 and send those out. That's very, very important if for some reason you haven't been able to keep up with it for the year, or you just inherited a file and have just now gotten it cleaned up and you're like, yes, I need to get on those 1099s. The other thing you're going to do, run a balance sheet and do the same thing. You don't have to click on the bank feeds. That's silly. But all the other ones, you're going to click on what's in there. You're probably not going to want to look at AR and AP, but any loans, any assets, what's in there, and does it belong in there? Is it in the right place? Then you're going to look and see, does the balance sheet look correct? Did the client purchase any assets this year that maybe we missed, that maybe need to be on the balance sheet? So you can ask them for an asset list. Clients do all kinds of stuff. Sometimes they're like, oh, I bought this. I'm like, well, where? I don't see it. I don't see $10,000 going out, in any of the checks. And they're like, oh yeah, I took a loan out, or I paid for it out of my personal or out of some, 401k account or something. And you're like, okay, that would be nice to know. So my suggestion is just to ask, hey, did you purchase any assets that I might not be aware of, or dispose of any assets? That's really a good one too, because clients, they had a car, it may have wrecked or something like that, and you may not be aware that that has been, disposed of. So those are the things you're going to want to do. And then lastly, you're going to want to go to the books review, and you're going to click on you can click on all the books review, but one of the ones I like to do is the very first little tab on the books review, and it talks about making sure every transaction has a vendor name on it. And I can't tell you how much this saves you and your client a lot of trouble down the road. So just go in and look, and if it's things like interest, or you're paying an Amex bill and you didn't put Amex on it, that's not a big deal, but go back and put the word Amex on it, create them as a vendor, and go ahead and do that. That will really help you and your client, down the road. So I like that. And plus, when your CPA is looking for something, or they're like, we need to know how much we paid this vendor because they need a 1099. If you didn't put the vendor's name on it, it's going to be harder to find, right? We're not going to know. And then also go to the bank feeds, check the receipt area there and see if there's any receipts that have been submitted that have not been matched up. So that's something else that you can do. So that's my fall cleanup. That's a lot, but you can do that pretty quickly with each file. And let me know your suggestions for a fall cleanup if there's other things that you're thinking about that really helped you get a start on the new year, because we all know what happens in January. It's crazy. So doing your fall cleanup now can really help mitigate some of those issues in January and really make January just a much more relaxed, month, hopefully, for you. I look forward to visiting more with you and seeing all of your comments. I'm Lynn Talbott, the Bookkeepers Coach.